Wow, feels good to sit down.
I bet you just you haven't stopped moving since you got to the US.
No, I haven't.
Right. Well, for those who are listening in and watching us, I'm sitting here in Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York, with the one and only Beatie Deutsch, aka Speedy Beatie, multi-marathon winner, mom, human, all the great things. It's funny, you connected with human and you like sort of like gave like this little nod. I know a lot of your brand is around marathon mother of 5. Do you relate to that? Do you enjoy being categorized as that title, as a mother and then marathon runner?
I think this is like the first time I've been asked, like, do I enjoy it? Like, it's so just a part of me that I don't think about it. It's like, I feel like it's really important to know, to remind myself the most important thing I'll ever do is be a mother. And it's so easy to get caught up in the like accomplishments you have. But like, actually, after I won the Miami half marathon, I was sitting in the car, finally, video chatting with my kids after I hadn't seen them for 4 days. And I was like so excited by that. And there was like so much joy in just talking to my kids. So yeah, I very much like mother first, and it's important to me.
Yeah, tremendous. Are your kids your biggest fans?
I don't know, because my kids really, they cheer me on. They're great. But like, I do have a lot of like fans here, and I feel like my kids are kind of sick of the whole like running thing. You have to have that balance. Like, I try very hard to like take running. It's not too much part of their life,
But how is that? I mean, how is that even possible? Because I partially trained for a full marathon, and that was just more as for leisure and just to get like fit and to challenge myself. But for someone on your level right now to be able to like run and professionally, I can only imagine the time commitment that takes. And so how do you like balance that and separate, give the time for, let's say, your husband, your 5 children, and as well nail your goals and what you need to get done?
So I'm very much about like compartmentalizing. Like, when I'm out there training, I don't think about anything else but training. Like, my kids are not in my head at all.
Mommy still loves you.
Yeah. And I know the hours I'm there, but literally like when I'm with my family, like my phone's away, like I'm not thinking about what workouts or anything. So it's very much about being in the moment with what you're doing. I think, a lot of moms have this struggle. Like, they have big goals they're pursuing. They have careers they're passionate about. And I think that's really great. And I think, and they're still dedicated moms, If anything, having your own passions and goals gives you energy. It's like, so when you're back with your kids, you can focus just on that. And, I decided now when I go back to Israel, I am off social media for a week because I need to like detox from I just want to be with my family. Like, I don't want to think about anyone else, Yeah.
Do you think you're going to get some anxiety being off social media?
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, I kind of I have a love-hate relationship with it,
Sure. Like, I think many of us, I can speak for myself as well. Like, it's such a powerful tool, but at the same time to be mindful of like how we use it and engage with that. And I can only imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, but with you, it seems like with all the craze of, your brand's growing, you're being recognized now. I feel like you're on social media a lot more than I'm sure you have been in any time of your life. How has that transition been for you, and how has that affected your life, your own mental health?
Well, the truth is, my previous job, I was involved in follow-up with students, so I was like in touch with people all day.
What were you doing before?
Every day. I worked for the Olami Foundation. I was the director of follow-up, and I was in charge of helping Jewish students get to Israel, get on programs. When they come back from Israel, get connected with people. I was the Jewish connector. Uh-huh. And it was nonstop communication over every channel of social media. And so being able to train like professionally was a huge blessing because I just felt like I had space. And it's true, like, I'm getting recognition and I'm active on social media, but that's not like what I'm not here to like become an influencer or anything like that. My goals are to like, be a runner, represent Israel. So it's kind of more of a side thing that it happens. Whatever happens with it, like, I'm not focused on it,
Right. And
the messages I put out there, like, it's only like I still haven't managed to write a race recap from Miami, but it's like I choose, it's content I want to share, and that like it has to be deeply coming from me. So like when it comes, it's there. I don't pressure myself to do it, That's great.
Like you said, you mentioned the word influencer. Sometimes, being thrusted into this limelight like you have been, do you feel like people, when they engage with you or they sort of want something from you, you're put on a certain pedestal, and do you feel any type of pressure in that sort of regard when you meet people or when people reach out to you and like they expect something from you and you're like, wait a second, that's not who I am?
No, I've never felt that pressure because like I am who I am and I'm doing what I want to do because it's important and passionate to me. And like actually I've said the more celebrity I become or famous I am, I'm like, I'm not really sure what the appeal of being famous is. For real, I want people to know that because like I get just as much pleasure from running, and maybe when I was doing it just on my own, even more, just because I love it. And like people, you cannot go out there and do things because you want other people's validation or attention. Like you have to be doing something because you're deeply committed to it from your own desires and motivation. And like if anything, the more I've been thrown into the limelight, it's like I want to run away.
Right. Well, I'm sure you'd be pretty good at that as well.
Yeah, probably.
So take me.
I feel what I do feel privileged about it is the opportunity to like connect genuinely with people. Like superficial, like, you know, you're so awesome at, like, that doesn't really strike me so much. But like I've made so many real meaningful relationships through runners and moms, and going on this tour was very powerful in that way to like realize like that I can have deeper connections with people when I meet them, you know, and that's cool.
I mean, we're talking about your tour now. It's your first official tour in America since your recognition as in the running world.
Pretty much. Last year I was running like a Shabbaton weekend, so I did a few speaking gigs, but this was like I took a week.
Yeah,
I did a race. I spoke.
Yeah,
so,
incredible.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the race. We were just in the half. We're here. It's Thursday. This Sunday we were in Miami in the Miami Marathon, and it was really great. I was with Team Lifeline. You came by. You spoke. You riled up the crowd. It was really very exciting.
It was fun to be there. Really amazing.
Yeah, and you did, and you took home you won first place in the half marathon. That's really, so did the Miami Marathon bring you down? And what was that?
Yeah, actually, they had been asking me for like months, like, come to Miami. And I'm the type of person that like doesn't know what I'm doing the next day. So I'm like, I can't really think that far in advance. But eventually I made the decision. I was like, you know, it's a good opportunity. They're flying me in, can do a speaking tour. Hopefully I could win and you know, make some money. So it was great. And really coming to Miami, like I didn't do it as a race, like to improve my time, but like it was more of like a workout for me.
Oh wow!
But
listen to that. That's Beatie for you. We're training for months, breaking a sweat, you know, and like, yeah, I'm just gonna like run this half marathon, and who knows?
I will say that it's called like a hard. When you do it like that, where there's not a real taper, it's called like a hard workout. And I knew though I wanted to win because mostly I really wanted to make the Jewish community proud and like be able to proudly represent Israel in America, and especially in South Florida where there is such a strong Jewish and Israeli community. I felt almost like an obligation. Oh, right. Which thank God I don't feel pressure from. But so it was really...
You want to make them proud.
Yeah.
I mean, you're representing.
That's exactly right.
Sure.
So it was nice that it worked out.
Wild. So before we go down deeper down this rabbit hole of your running career and your goals and aspirations for what's coming in 2020 and so on and so forth, take me back a bit because you grew up in Passaic, New Jersey.
Yeah. I
mean, I spent the Shabbos, a weekend in Passaic. Not the most exciting place in the world. It's, it's quaint.
It's nothing special about Passaic.
It's Passaic. You grew up into an Orthodox family, a religious family, Jewish family. And what was that, growing up in your family? You're the oldest of 5, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was your family open to extracurricular activities, to fitness, to that kind of world? Or I know you grew up with Taekwondo, so there was... Yeah.
My family's super open-minded. My parents are Baalei Tshuva. Like, they didn't grow up religious. My dad was a football player. The cool thing about my parents, I always give them, and I should give them more credit, but I give them all the credit, is like they encouraged everyone to go in whatever path they wanted. Amazing. And very much like, you know, what's important to you, what is good for you, find your path. And definitely, we were such an active family. Every year, we'd go hiking, and my family had this goal. In New Hampshire, there are 48 mountains over 4,000 feet. Wow. And so they wanted to do all 48. And they all did all 48. I'm the only one who's missing like 6 right now because I got married. Oh, and so my dad has been every summer like begging me, like, go finish them. I'm like, if you watch my kids, I'll go finish them. Because you can run up them. I ran up one. Like, we were here for a brief minute. Did like one with my husband, but I still have to collect a few more. Wow. But like, so act, you know, athletic wise, like I was doing sports, but nothing because the Orthodox community is so kind of insular, and like I went to the most religious women's schools, like we didn't have team sports. I didn't know about like, college track and field. Like I'm so new to the whole running world. It's like funny in Israel and for my coach. Like I'm constantly learning,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's pretty wild that you that it seems like you just started running when you were 26 back in 2016, was it?
Yeah.
And so like sort of had like this sort of hidden like talent that you didn't even perhaps didn't even know that you had. Did you run at all in your teens or early 20s?
No, I would occasionally get out for that like jog, like usually like the week before I needed to have a baby, like, okay, come on, let's see if we can push the baby out, like, or like run with my stroller with my kids. But I did not know anything about the running world. I did know that I was good at sports and that I'm strong. Sure. And like I was known actually in high school, like for always being able to grab the machanayim ball. Like, so people did call me Speedy Beatie. And when I would play basketball, I could like get across the court really fast. So I knew that, but
right,
you don't know what, like you can run races or win races.
That's insane.
Not at all.
Right. So Speedy Beatie was a nickname from back in high school?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Mostly just because I would like rollerblade to Starbucks and order people coffees and like rollerblade through the city with Starbucks coffees, or like, doing these crazy things like that. So
that was always something that sort of stuck with you. Got it. And now it's coming back. Was there so through this time, did your parents, as your fame and as your running career is growing, are you supported by your parents, by your community back
then? My parents are my like biggest supporters. Totally. I would say there's nuances in religious communities. So like I'm very careful. It's very important to me to never bring like negativity on the Jewish community, It's not always accepted to be like a out there professional runner as a female Orthodox woman. And I understand that. I know what I'm doing is maybe a little bit different than what is the norm for like ultra religious communities. And it's okay with me because I've never been someone that like needed to conform. Like I was always like, do your own thing. Yeah. And I have discussed it very intensely with my mentor and rabbi, and he very much encouraged me. And to me, I think change happens.
What did he tell you?
I asked him, like, should I go? Like, I had a choice, like, to become, like, start training professionally. Like,
paint me that picture. What's happening right now? Like, when you had this conversation, you just won 2016. You just had your
No. This is last year after I won the Israel National Championship Marathon in 2019.
Which also made you top 5 all time.
Yeah, in
fastest
Israel.
Woman in Israel.
Yeah,
amazing.
And my time was crazy. Like I had run a 2:42, and I had cut 6 minutes off in the marathon, and I knew that I wasn't even like scratching. Like I knew I had more in me because. Wow. So then Israel said like they'll pay me a monthly stipend to be an Olympic candidate and train, and like it was like should I drop? And the main decision was also like first of all that's going very public about it, like. And I had to give up the job I was doing where I'm impacting a lot of Jewish students. And I asked my rabbi, like, should I? And I always have been really passionate about making a difference, like as Jews, And that's like I connected with you, like when I saw you're like the thing you did for the Super Bowl, and it's such a beautiful initiative. And like,
thank you.
I very much value, like. Going out there and sharing our light, shining our light,
Absolutely, yeah. It's all about being lamplighters and
exactly.
Lighting up this world. Sure.
I didn't know if I should, like, it was a dilemma. And he told me, like, you have an opportunity that's unique because you can show the world that a religious woman can do anything, and the world needs to hear this and not compromise on her values and beliefs. And like he said, of course you should do it. And he's literally been so supportive. Like before every race, he prays for me. Wow. He gives me a blessing. He follows it. So like the second I've raced, he's like, send me an email like, wow, bracha, you did an amazing job. My Hebrew name is bracha. I'm so blessed. Any question I want to ask him, he's given me advice. So
what are some things that do come up in a race or in this world, like halakhically or a Jewish law, that could get a little tricky?
One is like, well, things come up like races can be on Shabbat. Like when the Olympics weren't supposed to be on Shabbat, they may end up being on Shabbat. I specifically asked him actually about doing like a run on Shabbat and he told me technically, as if someone was just running purely for pleasure, they could run on Shabbos. It's not an issue. but because I'm a professional runner, I always have my weekly mileage to make. Like I can't possibly say I'm just doing it for pleasure. Like I train. So, and because I stand out as a observant Jewish woman, like I have to make sure I'm completely, adhering. No, I don't want anyone to have any questions about what I'm doing. So I don't ever do any training runs on Shabbat.
Wow. And
then races obviously would not be allowed either. So other questions I've asked him, like sometimes, specific like nutrition, electrolyte powders, they don't have a kosher certificate. He'll go and he'll check with the, all the like ingredients and get someone who's very knowledgeable in it to find out if it's okay for me. I've asked him about just like my own personal struggle with certain, like being extra careful of modesty. Like, so I asked him what my guidelines should be. He just very helpful.
Wow. I mean, talking about modesty, when you run your marathons, you're fully clothed in modest clothing. You're wearing a skirt, you're wearing a head covering, your elbows are covered.
Yeah.
That's very commendable. Do you feel like that's ever going to change, or
It's never going to change. No, it's something like, it's not a question. It's so funny. It was never a question for me. It's like when you grow up keeping modesty, like you're not going to start running differently. Now that I'm gotten more serious, every so often when I'm really hot in the race, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I kind of just want to whip my shirt off right now. And then I think like scandal, like,
right, exactly.
Like I was
Orthodox woman.
I was in but like once I was in Valencia, it's like the middle of, no one's there. I'm like, what if I just like my skirt was soaking wet and like sticking to me because I'd poured water, which never do that. Don't pour water on yourself. You'll get more sweat. So I'm like thinking like I could just be running in my shorts right now, but it's not a question, even I said, even if I don't fully understand why I need to do this, because I understand and appreciate the concept of modesty, but at the same time, like women who race running, like it's purely performance focused. It's not like you're showing off your body. You're like, I get it why they do it. It's faster.
Yeah.
So I said though, like, I don't always need to understand everything God asks of me. And for me, modesty is like, it's reminding myself, which this is really important to me, to be humble and to know, like, at the end of the day, what I'm doing, like my running is not me. And it's so easy when you get into the world of athletics, like you see all the time, I worked so hard for this and I put in so much effort. And, we do have to work hard, but like I give full credit to Hashem. And so I feel like when I'm dressing modestly, I'm reminding myself, like, modesty, like who's in charge? Hashem is in charge. He's the one who gave me this. It's his blessing, That's
incredible to stay grounded and stay focused on, where your power comes from, and understanding that it's just really a tool for you, a gift for you to just show up and another way to show God in this world and people to aspire and be inspired by that. So do you think, I know you just recently have a deal with Nike. Nike is an official sponsor of yours?
So
complicated?
Nike, okay. Nike in Israel is kind of low on the totem pole. So like Nike is my, gives me clothing and shoes. Let's just say they could do a little more. It would be nice if they could do a little more.
Nike's a big fan of this podcast. So we'll, they're listening.
I actually met with someone yesterday who maybe will be able to help me. I don't know.
Maybe they'll do like a dry fit style skirt.
I made my own dry fit skirt out of a Nike men's dry fit shirt.
Boom. Okay. Look at you. Fashion designer as well here.
Now people, so I said when I on my speaking tour, I get questions about that. And I'm like, I've been trying to convince Nike to how important it is for them to market their skirt. We don't see eye to eye on the value of this product. I'm like, but when I'm standing there at the start line in Tokyo in my own Nike skirt, they're going to be regretting that they didn't come out with it because everyone's going to be wanting that skirt.
That's right. You gotta stock up on those because they'll sell out pretty quickly.
Yeah. So and also there are a lot of Christian women who wear skirts. Like I have so many followers who are not Jewish and who literally tell me they dress modestly. So I think that Nike's really missing out. Like,
totally, there's a whole nother market right there.
There's this whole market.
And I've also, I wonder though if you're wearing Nike, but you just can't do it. I wonder how that plays out.
Well, that's why you always can do it.
There it is. Well said and well plugged. But I did come across an article as well where there was a woman who was wearing a hijab and she wasn't allowed to. I think she got disqualified because of wearing that. So I found, which is interesting, that you have a following that isn't necessarily Jewish who do abide by the laws of modesty? And do you find yourself having conversations with people outside, opening up new worlds and new ideas to you that you haven't experienced before?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I've connected with a lot of Christian women. We share a lot of, ideas about what it means to be like, have a relationship with God. And like, I think it's, to me always like, we can connect with so many people regardless of religious background, race. Like we're here to just be, break down the barriers. That's what I think is really cool about sport in general. Like I've gone to like races in, South Africa, and I try and connect. We don't share the same language, but I'm like chilling with Ethiopians and Kenyans, and I just want to connect with people. So yeah, this has like opened up a lot of new worlds for me. And in Israel also, I did a photo shoot with an Arab woman, and
yeah, I saw that.
And
really
cool. Because I think sometimes Jewish, like we kind of get, the Jewish community is amazing. Like I live in Israel, but we end up being so like insular in a certain way, and like think that we can't like mix, or like something's gonna happen, but like we can gain a lot and we can share a lot when we just realize we have so much more in common with people than we think, and not focus on what brings us apart.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think there's a lot of beauty and to express our differences when it comes to how, our customs and our religions. And that, I think, what makes the world so beautiful. Like, it'd be sort of boring to go walk into a garden and have the same flower everywhere, right?
No,
it's beautiful.
I totally
but at the same time, to be part of that garden and to realize that we are, all God's children, and we are, we all have a very, very human, connection and feeling that runs very, very deep. And through my experience of opening up and connecting with people outside the community, outside, the Jewish faith, it's been very enriching and has made me appreciate my own, my own background, my own community, my own religion, and as well as open my mind up to so many incredible experiences and people. I think it's when one may find themselves not so secure within their own belief, or perhaps they feel a little loose in their roots, then they get a little scared. They put up walls that not necessarily have to be there.
Right.
I think there's more power somewhere up with the rabbi. I think a rabbi who's able to get a yes rather than a no out of like a question is a more knowledgeable rabbi. Because I think if rabbi was like, oh, no to this, no to that, it's like, wait a second, why are we saying no to no?
Right, that's why I love and appreciate so much about my rabbi, because he's constantly like, he's always looking for the way to like, he has the wisdom and the like vision to, as much as he is so mainstream, he's so in the most Orthodox community, but also to see like things from a bigger picture. And like, I think change happens not when we're like blasting out, oh, this is wrong and it's negative. Like we need to do something about this, all this bad in the Jewish community. Like change happens through individuals who say, I'm going to be a positive role model and make a difference, and people are so inspired and moved by that, and they say, I want to be like that. That's how, so it's grassroots.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And you're definitely in the forefront of that in the fitness world for sure. When it comes to your relationship with your husband.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going there.
Okay. I hope he sees this.
Oh, he'll see it. He loves the podcast. He's a big fan.
Totally.
How has your relationship shifted and changed since pre-marathon?
It's so interesting. Like, my relationship with my husband has changed so much because of a lot of factors in my life. Not necessarily so much from the running, because like there's a lot of personal things I haven't been open about, obviously, that like I don't feel it's not the place. But
now's a good time to do that.
No, some of them are not. I believe as much as like you can be genuine and authentic and share, like you do have to know what's the boundary. So like with the thing is though, I recently said to him, like, I feel bad because I feel like I've been on this for me it's this crazy journey of like self-actualization, where I'm like feeling so like everything in my life coming together, God giving me these gifts, and I'm using it for my mission, and like it's just very powerful, and I'm very tuned into that. And I'm like, and then also obviously there's a lot of attention, whatever. And I was like, I asked him how he like what it was like for him. Like I said, it must be hard for you or whatever. He didn't really acknowledge if it was hard or not. So he takes time to like, like he won't always be, he's not like, he's an introvert. So I have to get things out of him and it doesn't always come out. So I don't know 100%. Like I know one thing. He never liked being in public. He doesn't like being in the spotlight. And it's hard for him. Social media is like hard for him. He doesn't love that part of this. And he recently told me like he made an Instagram account because he felt like he couldn't know what was going on with my journey like while I'm here because I wasn't like in touch enough. So that made me feel, and my kids were also, and that made me feel bad. And I was like, and I'm happy that he has Instagram. Like he could follow me on Instagram. That's great. But like, it's weird that he was like, I can't, like, you're so all over the place. Like, I can't know what's going on. Like, I had to follow your Instagram. So I felt really bad about that.
Well, that's, I mean, to be honest, that's my parents open up their Instagram accounts as well. They're like, man, we don't know where you are, what country you're at. We hear our friends on WhatsApp forwarding stories to us. So like, we figured, we'll open up some Instagram
so
account.
I'm really, and also my husband tends to be like over, like he can get overly sarcastic, so I knew it wasn't like genuine, like 100% true, but fine. He said that, so there's always truth in what he's saying.
Yes.
I think that when the more public you are, the more important it is to actually prioritize your family and loved ones, and because people are constantly wanting you, grabbing you, whatever, and don't lose focus on who really matters the most. Like those, likes, DMs, comments, like they're meaningless. Like the people that are in your life, in your inner circle, they need you the most. And like, I'm not saying I'm good at this. Like me and my husband are bad in the date night department, like terrible. Like, I don't know. I hope that when I get back to Israel, we can get away for like a night. Like maybe it's a dream. I would love to like one time for him to be able to come with me to a race, just him. Usually that can't happen because he's home with my kids.
I mean, the roles of traditional, like of an Orthodox home has sort of shifted, it seems like, in a way, right? Like with you traveling, being away, and him being
it's only when I'm not away that often, honestly. And when I'm home, I'm so 100% there. Like he was complaining about how he can't handle another day. He's like, the floor is so messy. I have to pick things up all the time. No one has clothes. I'm sick of making lunches. And I'm like, I was trying so hard to be sympathetic. But then I was just like thinking like, listen, I do this
is my life.
Single day and I still have my job.
Right.
But he is amazing. He's supported me from day one. When I said I want to run a marathon and I was not running at all, he didn't say you're crazy. He believed in me. He's the reason that I'm here because he pushed me to go for a time that I never would have thought possible. And he got a watch for me. He was like so much my coach, like all the time. And now he makes a tremendous amount of sacrifice for me. And I tell him like, I take it for granted because like when you're in a relationship, you expect like your spouse to support you. But then every few weeks, I'm just like, I don't take it for granted. Like, what you do is above and beyond, and I'm so grateful. And I told him like I was getting emotional because it's like 4 years this month that I ran my first marathon.
Wow.
And I never ever I never would have dreamed, ever that I'm here. And I like looked at a picture of us like standing at the finish line of Tel Aviv, and I was like, and I didn't get to, I said I'm going to write him a letter because I want to just like say all the things, but I haven't written it yet. But,
well, if your husband's going to be listening to this podcast now, is there something you want to tell him on this podcast? Just to him, no one else.
I just like feel a tremendous amount of like gratitude. And if I don't say it enough, cause like I don't, like, you're amazing. He's amazing. He really deserves all the credit, and he's so humble about it, and he doesn't want to be in the limelight, and he never makes me feel like whatever, but like, yeah, and honestly, like I would say about our relationship, like we've had a lot of ups and downs. So like I really am a big believer, like whatever you see on social media, just take it with a grain of salt and I don't put anything out there like,
do you feel like your social media is a bit fluffed up, or is it pretty?
No, it's not. But I'm saying I also don't put up like romantic like pictures of us like it's just like that's not how I like. Yeah. No, I don't. It's that to me is very private.
It's private, sure. Yeah, totally.
I think people have lost that sensitivity, and it's unfortunate, and it cheapens people's relationships. Your relationship is private.
Right, with what goes on. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I didn't really see much perhaps physical affection between my own parents, but never did I ever doubt that they didn't love each other. Right. Some things are meant to be kept to private and intimacy. Shifting quickly to another topic, fitness and nutrition in the Orthodox world. What's your take on it, and how do you think it could get better? Because I know growing up, I mean, the food is tasty, it's awesome, but it's definitely not the healthiest. And was it difficult for you to shift to? I'm sure training, you have certain diets and certain regimens.
I see so much. It's funny. I think I'm just so positive that I always see progress. Like I see so much progress. I see people really going out and starting to exercise. I see it becoming so popular and normal, accepted. I see people being conscious of nutrition. I also see like it's a balance, you know. I don't think that from Judaism like is inherently unhealthy. I think it like maybe people made it that way, but like you could have a delicious Shabbat dinner. It's actually really healthy because like you're sitting down and spending quality time with your family, and like part of eating properly is like slow down, like listen to your body signals, you know, like take that time, not like fast paced. So like I think certain things have to shift and whatever, you know, you don't necessarily need to eat like a whole challah at every meal, whatever. You could have like a slice of bread. You could have a lot more. You don't need 10 side dishes. You could do a salad, like simple.
Keep it simple.
And I don't know. I'm in Israel, so I think in general, like things are simpler there, and people do eat a lot of like, you know, fresh salads, protein and stuff, like nothing crazy. But I'm optimistic. I think we're definitely making progress, and that's the goal.
Can we expect a Speedy Beatie cookbook or diet plan? Perhaps a workout video?
I don't know. I could do things like people always ask me. I don't use recipes. People always ask me, "What are you making? What do you eat?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't have time right now. Maybe if there's enough like real demand, you know.
Oh, I feel like it's gonna be getting there soon enough. Yeah. I
happen to be I have celiac disease, so I also have to cook gluten free, which is also taken off. Like it's so popular. I don't personally think that being gluten free is necessarily healthier unless your body rejects. Like I can't eat gluten; it will destroy my system. So. Right. I don't know why there's such a craze of it, but it's the days.
It's there. It exists.
Yeah.
What's a Speedy Beatie cheat meal?
Oh, like not healthy?
Yeah, not, you know, because you gotta treat yourself, totally. Right? You're on the regimen, or you have to pump up. The
thing is that every so often, like when I have a race, then I'll let myself just like enjoy for a few days after. But
what's the go-to?
Chocolate. I love chocolate, and then I don't know. I'm not. But then after a few days, I'm like, my body feels so off. Like right now, I've not been eating well these past few days. And like, I want to just get back to like myself. Like it's hard for me, you know? But I was always had a really big sweet tooth. So the sugar thing is like that. And maybe like French fries. Those are great, you know?
Nice. A little Dijon, a little basil on top. Nice. Yeah. What's a quote that inspires you? What's your favorite quote?
Well, I'm very much inspired by Dina Castor, who is the American record holder in the marathon. And one of her mantras is define yourself. And she talks a lot about how that was what kept her going in certain races. And she always says, you know, when you're pushing in those final moments of the race and you're looking at your watch and it's about seconds, why do those seconds matter? She says it's not about the seconds. It's about the fact that in that moment, you're making a choice that defines you and who your character is. Are you a person that gives up when it gets difficult, or are you a person that keeps pushing and overcomes? And I always keep that with me because like those seconds in the race are just a metaphor for all the moments in our life where it's so easy to give in, give up, quit, say it's difficult. And if we can overcome it with our mind, then that's what defines us. And every choice we make defines who we are eternally. You know,
amazing, incredible. So, what are some future goals for yourself?
I'm running another marathon in April.
Wow.
And I've like put it out there. And
have in mind this. We're right now in February, so and you just ran a half marathon
in the big marathon build up, and then so it's not necessarily realistic. I might have to tweak it, but like my big goal is like it would be cool if I could actually qualify for the real standard of 2:29:30. Like a sub 2:30 marathon, that would be like insane.
You got this, man.
My coach is not like very positive that it's gonna happen, but the thing is, like, I always kind of have illogical races. They're all minah shemayim from God, so you know, we'll see about that. And then in bigger, like, I really hope I'll be able to actually run the marathon in Tokyo and not just fly to Tokyo.
Amen to that. Yeah, you're working on getting that.
We're trying
to retract it, and so the race is not on the Shabbos.
Yeah, we'll see if it happens, and then if not, there's always, I'm so excited. I kind of just feel like my career of running's unfolding, and I have a good like 5 years of like really getting stronger, better, and I have so much to work on. So I'm looking forward.
The best is yet to come.
Yeah.
Wow. Feel free to follow Speedy Beatie. Where can we find you on social
Marathon
media?
Mother, and my Facebook page is Beatie Deutsch, Marathon Mother.
Incredible.
Yeah, and you could see the real deal on all the crying kids and all the laundry and everything else you want to know. It's all there.
All of it. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. You're an inspiration, and
really
good luck on all
nice.
the future races.
Thank you.